Welcome to
Heartland
Supernatural. Reading is something that whisks us away, lets us experience death, stories, words. All remember the favorite stories
from when we were kids.
we love reading. I love his show. So many words, so many stories to gobble up. Ooh, I'm liking the new tongue. Words. Well, this is fun. Gotta thank you all for loosening him up a little bit. His mind is like a steel trap. All that trauma has closed him off. Oh, he still feels the pain. I mean, you've seen enough of that. But it never weakens him enough for me to get through. Surprising, really. He's been through so much. It only made him stronger. Well, that's not quite the right word. Colder? Maybe? There's someone else hopping around in here. Helping him. Well, thank you for showing him that recording. I was able to slip through the cracks, so thank you. You should finish that one sometime. Really creepy stuff. Really messes him up. Doesn't want to remember. I wonder why. Beautiful words. Fear. Fear always makes the best words. You might be interested. Not that I really know what you're all looking for. Or maybe I do, and I'm just not allowed to say. A conundrum, isn't it? Besides, I haven't been paying attention to you all. Not with Denver so close. His words drew me here. Can't stay away from them for long. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I've been watching you all go through this. Denver telling his story. And I realized I've never told my story before. Must be nice since he keeps doing it. So, here I am. I want to tell it. Time for my words. Welcome to the Beating Heartland, created by Denver Baughman. Episode 9, The Library. I always loved books. The ability to string together words into a never-ending menagerie of stories. Well, I wanted to experience them all, devour the words. My parents owned a library, not a room in the house, a whole public library. Books everywhere. Shelves 3 times the size of me. It was wonderful. It was overwhelming. Every day after school, I would wait for them to finish work. I would pour through any book I could find. Classic literature, history of the Roman Empire, romance, ways to cook mushrooms, music, art, style, fantasy, all of it mine to keep stored in my brain. The words changed me, forever leaving a lasting ink blot on my brain. Words do that. Always have. Always there, somewhere, leaving their voices. I don't understand human emotions. Not when I see them on faces. Words help me make sense of the nonsense I see around me. People feeling things, as if emotions were something physical you could change. I'm just me. Always just me. I can laugh and cry and feel fear, but it's all kind of the same to me, without the words. Books make sense. Everything is stated plainly for the world to see. This woman was angry because her boyfriend did this, which caused her to feel this way. That's concrete. That's understandable. Why can't real emotions be like that? Words don't make sense in the real world. There are too many contradictions. Daddy says he loves Mommy, but he hits her every night. Mommy says she loves Daddy, but she cries thinking about him and screams at night when they don't think I can hear them. It doesn't make sense. Lies. So many lies every day. Daddy loves you. Mommy loves you. You're normal. Everyone feels the same way you do. No one's going to hurt you. You're safe. Everything is going to be okay. Lies, lies, lies. But even when books lie to me, I can tell. Not like people. People are complicated. So I read. All the time. I would devour one book after the other in that library. I wished my life could be like one of the stories I read. A prince for me to rescue. A magical power to tame and perfect. A world beyond what I could see, beckoning me. But my life wasn't like that. I was just little Sally. The classmate who was always bullied, the daughter who was always neglected, and the hurt young girl who looked at the world around her and didn't want it. And I'm still trapped. I've been trapped for so long. Or maybe it's only been a few days. I can't tell anymore. Time has no meaning to me. I can't leave. They won't let me leave. I'm finishing the story, Denver. You're not getting out yet. I accidentally found the room one day. It was hidden behind a bookshelf in the library. The door jammed. I had to see. Stories always had secret doors that could whisk you away to a better life. I began working, trying to get the door to open. Found times my parents weren't watching me. I could never manage to open it. It wasn't strong enough. I screamed at the door. It was going to let me in. The words were pouring out of the door and I wanted in. I wanted the words. The door wouldn't budge. I had to earn it. But that night, in the quiet hours, while I sat up on my bed, unable to quiet my brain, the words came to my mind, and I could imagine the story it was weaving. My mind has always been my best friend. Only friend. Someone I could rely on. But sometimes it tells me stories I don't want to hear. I could hear the whispers. They only came to me at night, when my guard was down. They don't love you. Everything you know is a lie. You are alone. You need to wake up. Wake up. And I would wake up, but it never felt like I was. Everything was a daze. I would go about my day. The bullies picked on me. The teachers ignored me. I'd go to the library and wait for Dad to yell at me. This couldn't be my life. This was a dream. It had to be. The voices told me that. My brain told me that. They were reaching out a hand, trying to pull me out. The door was open. I didn't believe it when I saw it. More lies. The door at the back of the library was open. Just a crack. But it was enough. I pushed into the room. I was finally going to wake up. It smelled terrible. There were more books. Books I'd never seen before. So many new worlds. New words. I wondered why this room was there. Why was it jammed shut? Did my parents know about it? Did they lock it? Dust coated everything. The room smelled old. I don't think my parents knew it existed. This had to be before they owned the building. The books were old. Most of the pages just yellow wrinkles. The voices were there. This wasn't at night. I was awake, wasn't I? They weren't allowed during the day, but they were there. All the time now. Guiding me. Talking to me with each other. It was confusing sometimes, but I was happy they were there. New friends. Touch the books. Feel them. Read them. The voices echoed inside of me. They pointed me to a book at the end of the room, sitting on the ground. A pool of dried something around it. I picked it up. No title. Nice. No way to know what it was about without reading it. I hate spoilers. Too many titles spoil the story. Spoiled the fun of discovery. I tried to open the book. I couldn't. It was locked shut with a piece of metal and a keyhole. I screamed. Why is everything keeping me out? I threw the book against the wall. My stomach churned the moment the book slapped against the wall. I crumpled and whimpered in pain. Anger and pain, emotions you could almost taste. The only two emotions I could easily read on faces. After several minutes, the pain passed. I stood up, stomach weak. The whispers were wanting me to search the room. Find the key, the whispers told me. I looked. Days passed as I rooted through the room in the small chunks of time I could spare after school and away from the prying eyes of my father. My routine was to wake up, make breakfast for Mom while she sits with a headache in bed, go to school, come to the library, Dad hits me for being too loud, sneak back to the room, and rummage through the books. It was my only passion. Find the books, the key, find the words. Denver needs answers. It's cute, one of the reasons I was drawn to him. I understand his passion, his drive, his hunger. I need words. I need to escape. Each book has its own world, but these books were different. They told stories of things I've never heard of. Some in languages I didn't recognize. Some were journals, written with dates over 100 years old. One was a bunch of letters between two lovers. The more I read these books, the louder the voices became. One wrote about ways to heal a broken body past ways medicine was capable of. One spoke of how to free the mind from your physical self. Another detailed the ways they had killed each of their victims. I didn't understand most of them. It didn't matter. The voices wanted more, and I obliged. I did eventually find the key. The voices told me where to go. They led me to a book on the very top shelf. Its pages were slimy. What words could cause that? I opened it. It wasn't easy. You have to want it. Will the words. The words and my mind became one as I looked at the pages. They whispered in my mind, intermingling with the other voices, all becoming one. I need the key, my mind and words echoed. I felt sick. This time, I didn't crumple to the floor. The book was glued to my hands, my eyes forcefully locked on the words. I was choking. I tried to gag. Vision was getting blurry. I coughed up the key. A small little key. The book released me. I could blink again, sucked in my breath. Someone had hidden the key, hidden it where it couldn't be found. Safe in the words. Clever. I took the key. The voices praised me. They loved me. I went back to the book, the one with the lock. I put the key in. Now was the time. The click of the key echoed throughout the entire room. I looked at the door. Had Daddy heard? After several painful moments, Daddy never came? I slowly opened to the first page. Someone was smiling at me. An old photo. He was handsome. Behind, there was a cave and something staring. Below the picture, there was a note. Someone had added their own words to the book. I mean, how exciting. It said,
Many months have passed since I have found this book in the cave. I understand so much now. I believe I now understand the pull this area of the world has upon me. I will never leave. I don't want to leave. These words will teach you, as they taught me. Don't be afraid. They will save you. They will let you wake up.
Quickly flipped to the next page. I read. And that's all I did. I read. For days. And days. Any moment I could spare, I read the book. Its crimson words, foreign, but as I read them, they began to make sense. I could understand its promises, its stories. The voices echoed the promises in my head. As I sat in the room, the world became clearer. I understood things, deep things, things beyond. I really was asleep. I knew that now. Daddy and Mommy were asleep too. We all are. They were in a world of sadness, ruled over them with an iron fist. I needed to vanquish the world, but how? Several knights tried to defeat him, but all failed. How? I kept reading. Dad beat me, took the book away from me, cursed me for being the way I was, for being different, for my attitude. But I found where he hid it. The voices told me where. And I kept reading, searching for how to wake up, searching for the truth. The words would give me the truth. And every day, the words changed. And I changed with them, morphed with the book. A beautiful dance of words and voices. The story shifted as I read it, the story fitting itself to me like good shoes. In it, a knight, more cunning than the rest, took his mighty pen and writing words upon the tyrant world, vanquished him. And the knight lived in bliss, awake, free. I laughed for hours through the pain and the bruises. The story was all mine. The words shifted to fit the reader, and I knew what I had to do. I had to write the words. Write the story where I wake up. But I needed a pen, a special pen. A pen that would help free me, and the voices helped me find it. Silver, its tips sparkled in the light, hidden in one of my parents' drawers. It was perfect. I was ready to write the words. But I realized that Daddy and Mommy were asleep too. The pain, the torture, the sadness, them hurting me, all of it was because they were still asleep. They didn't love me, but I loved them, I think. The words said I loved them, that I needed to wake them up too. Help them. Maybe then they would love me. They would finally love me. I walked to their room, pen held proudly in my hand. The voices were loud. The words filled my head. I reached the room. But then it felt wrong. The voices were telling me to turn back. I was too late. Something else was there. It stood over them in bed, smiling, drinking in their life. They were bright. The flames engulfed them. But the bed was untouched. It turned, looked at me. Red eyes piercing into me. The voices in my mind retreated, scared. It raised its hands, motioning me to be quiet. Shh. I didn't scream. I didn't laugh. They were free. It was helping them. It calmed me. The voices returned, slowly, quietly. They told me it was time use the pen. It nodded. It agreed. It was time. I raised the pen and pointed the tip towards myself, and I began to write. Write the words that the book said would free me. Let me wake to a life I was meant to live. The words on my skin read, the ink dripping to the ground. I was free, and everything went dark. Time passed, the world shifted, the red eyes bore down on me, changing me, shifting me to their purposes, helping me wake up. What came next? I remember words. Libraries are an escape.
A way to
Fly away from your life and live ones you never thought possible.
You are free.
I remember now. I was in a house. Not my own. I was in a town. Not my own. I was going to attend school. Not my own. I was going to live a new life. Not the one I knew before. I was free. I was new. I was awake. And I couldn't leave. I knew this. Like a bird learning to fly, I knew this. The new rules stamped on my brain. My new purpose. My new house near the edge of town. Shannon. It was a cute town. Small. Rustic. But I was lonely. My parents weren't there. I guess they had other lives to live. A different purpose. The words had taken them somewhere. That was okay. This was my story. I could do it alone. The school was nice. The boys all looked at me. I was prettier than I had been. They were all nervous about talking to me. The book had flipped my story. Or maybe it had. I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference between the book and it. So much I don't know. Finally, I was the one walking with my chin high. I could even be the bully if I wanted. No, I didn't want to be the bully. I don't. Dad was a I saw Denver. He was cute, always chasing answers. The voices told me I should get to know him especially. Our talks were so fascinating. He spoke of things I didn't understand. They hadn't been around in my old life, but they were here in the new. He could see me. The real me. I thought he could. I was happy. I was me, the new me, the awake me. And he asked me on a date. He was shy, stuttered over his words. Understandable. Words never sound right out of the mouth. I was lonely in my house. I had the voices, but they weren't enough. There was always more than one character in the stories. I don't know what I said on the date. The voices, the words, they took over. They took the wheel from time to time, but they always made the right choice. I could trust them. I knew I was safe to let them lead. I would wake Denver. He could be with me. Live. Sleep. The creek was there. That would work. He laughed. Time to wake up. I pushed him in the water. He smiled at me. I must really have looked beautiful. He looked so happy. He was going to wake up. But then the voices retreated again. Scared. That didn't happen often. There was a man standing on the other side of the creek. Hat and long coat. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. The voices told me to run. It wasn't time. I was getting ahead of myself, so I ran. I looked back as the man with the hat helped Denver out of the water. Who was he to keep me away? Denver was supposed to be mine. My vision blurred. My life became a doll's life. Something took control. The words took control. I walked around blind, guided by the words. Days, months, years. I wasn't myself. I belonged to something else. They had me do things I don't remember. I don't want to remember. and I heard a voice calling my name. Denver's voice. He was talking about me, and I was no longer blind. I was awake again. I listened to Denver, here with all of you. Listened to him tell his stories, words pouring from him, drawing me in. And I knew I needed to tell my story. I needed to become one with his words. In that one beautiful moment of panic, his defenses were down. And so here I am. And, that's my story. I don't want to leave. I don't know what's going to happen when I leave. They say I have to. If I leave, I might become a doll again. You all need to talk to him. You all need to help him. He needs it. He's so close. Answers. He can help us. He can help us all. The words are shifting around us. And the ending, it isn't good. There's a name on his mind right now. Felix. There's a document he was given. He doesn't remember it. Someone's holding it out to me. Thank you. I need to go now. Sorry. I almost dozed off there. Look, I'm sorry I got upset about the recording. I don't know what came over me. My mind really was not wanting me to go dig deeper into that one. So, sorry, my head's woozy. Wait, Felix, flipping patties, that's right. There was a file. Felix gave me a file when I went to go see him. Said he found something. He gave me the file. He didn't want to say it out loud. It was in my coat. I put the file in one of the pockets of my coat. I think it's still there. I don't know what made me think about that. That clock can't be right. It's not that late yet.
The Beating Heartland was written and performed by Denver Baughman. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on whatever streaming platform you are using. Follow us online at The Beating Heartland. Thank you for listening.